If you quite like the Volkswagen Golf but think that hatchbacks are a little bit too boxy and common, then don't worry, because there's always the Jetta, which is, well, it's essentially a Golf with a boot. Unless you want to carry large wardrobes regularly, which I'm assuming that you don't, this car may be better for you because its luggage capacity is actually a lot greater. I mean, this bag is just completely swallowed up in there, and if you do need to carry longer items, as long as they're not an aforementioned wardrobe, you can fold down the rear seats by pulling this lever here. Even though it's built on the same platform as the Golf, the Jetta has a slightly longer wheelbase, and as a result there's more leg room here in the back. I mean, look at that, that's really impressive. It means you can go quite a long distance in the rear of this car, no problem at all. There's even some big sized door bins, and you know how I like those. I mean, look, you can fit moderately large bottles in there. It doesn't matter if your bottle magically grows in size, because the side door bins in the front are even larger, and there's lots of useful cubby spaces actually. There's some just under this stereo here, a big one in the centre armrest, and a handy sized glove box. As for standard equipment, well, it's pretty good, though the best bet is the mid-spec SE model, because as well as central locking, air conditioning and ESP anti-skid control, it adds USB interface for the stereo, Bluetooth and cruise control. The Jetta is available with a selection of excellent VW Group engines. However, for maximum economy, check out the 1.6 litre BlueMotion diesel, as Volkswagen claim it will do 67 miles per gallon. So then, what's the Jetta like to drive? Well, surprise, surprise, it's just like the Golf really, and that's no bad thing because you get precise steering, hardly any body roll through corners and lots of grip. And so on a twisty road, you end up with a smile on your face. Look. However, on the motorway, the Jetta will actually help reduce your blood pressure because it's very relaxing to drive, even over longer distances. For instance, the cabin is well insulated from outside noise, the seats are comfortable, and even though the suspension is reassuringly firm, it's still supple enough to deal with annoying bumps in the road. And then when you head into town, you'll appreciate the fact that all the controls are nice and light, yet still have a reassuring Germanic robust feel to them. Although, should that be Mexican, because the Jetta is actually built in Puebla, Mexico. Now then, we need to talk about the Jetta's downsides, and just like the Golf, it gives me really very little to moan about. However, there are a few things. For instance, while the Golf is a kind of money no object car, the Jetta feels more like it's been built down to a price. For instance, the top of the door trims are hard and brittle, whereas on the Golf they're soft, and if you look closer down at some of the fit and finish, you'll see that, well, standards aren't quite so exacting in Puebla as they are in Wolfsburg. Another issue with the Jetta is that its design is a little bit meh. And the same criticism could be levelled at the conservative looking interior. But then hey, looks are subjective. What's not is that a large transmission tunnel makes sitting in the middle rear seat even more uncomfortable. Finally, there's the fact that the Jetta won't hold its value quite as well come resale as the slightly more practical Golf. That said, it is cheaper to buy in the first place, and that means it represents great value for money. So maybe we shouldn't think of it as a booted Golf and more a slightly smaller Passat. With that in mind, maybe we should start this review all over again. Bear with me. If you quite like a Volkswagen Passat but think it's a little bit too large for you, then don't worry, because there's always the Jetta, because it's basically a slightly smaller Passat.